Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of Comp Talk. Thank you for joining us on the Comp Effect podcast. Today's topic, we're going to go through an actual loss history for an account that I'm working on right now. This account's not a client. I do have their loss history. I've gone through that with them, and we're going to maybe just have a conversation about lessons learned from looking in the rearview mirror when it comes to where this account is at today. And it's an absolute mess. How they're at where they're at, I'm not really sure, but let's go through and maybe see what you think about this. So this account that I'm working on a few years ago used to have a mod or an experience mod of 0.86. And just to do a quick refresher here, an experience mod adjusts your premium up or down based upon how well your company has performed. So at the beginning, every business starts with a mod of 1, and that's considered to be average. If you have a mod of 1, you are average in your industry. If through safety methods and lack of claims, you perform better than average, that number goes down. And when that number goes down, your company actually pays less for workers' compensation insurance. So on this account, they used to pay about $100,000 a year in work comp. At a mod of 0.83, theoretically, that means they're paying $83,000 as opposed to $100,000. Today, their mod is 1.21, and that number has increased 40%, and hence their premium is now today close to $150,000 in workers' compensation premium that they're paying the carrier. So a mod that's higher than 1 means that your company or the business has performed below average, has claims above industry average, is therefore a higher risk, and is therefore going to pay more for workers' compensation insurance. So one of the first things I do is I go through and I look at the loss history here and look at the description of the losses to see, what's kind of been going on. And out of the 15 claims that I'm looking at, 9 of the claims here are less than $800. They're less than $800 and they're medical only claims. As a friendly reminder, a medical only claim, those are the best. If you're going to have a claim, those are the best type of claim to have. And those claims are reduced in weight on how much they impact your mod. They're actually reduced by 70%. So if you're going to have a claim, a medical only is the best claim that you have. The problem here is this account has partnered with an insurance carrier that does not offer any type of initial claims management, such as a nurse triage service. And you'll hear a lot, you'll hear me talk quite a bit on the importance of nurse triage from managing that claim at the very first second it's reported. But if you have a nurse triage service, it takes the liability out of your hands. This account, whenever somebody gets hurt, they either take them to the emergency room or they follow up with a physician the next day. And so I'm looking at claims that are $58, $200, $400, $379. It's crazy. And so let's go through and see what kind of claims that we're having here. All these small claims, these medical onlys. Here's somebody dragging something that's 50 pounds, hurt their back. Here's somebody pulling on a piece of equipment, hurt their back. Here's somebody shoveling, hurt their back. Here's somebody who was bending over improperly, hurt their back. Person slipped and fell. Person cut their hand with a box cutter. This person dropped an item and it bounced and hit their ankle. All of these claims, they went to the urgent care, they went to the physician the next day and they said, "Hey, thanks for coming in. Nothing's wrong. Let us know if anything changes." And they closed the claim. Every one of these claims could have been handled by nurse triage. Every one of these claims could have had a $0 amount rather than what I'm looking at here. When I go back through and I remove those claims, those 9 claims, and I say, let's assume for a second those 9 claims never happened because nurse triage took care of them. That has a 1% impact on the experience mod. So instead of a 1.21, It's now a 1.2. And you may be thinking to yourself, that's not a lot, but on a $150,000 workers' compensation premium, it's $1,500 a year. That's $1,500 a year over 3 years, $4,500 that this account is going to pay to the insurance company because the insurance company doesn't have nurse triage. I think that's a bad deal. There's also a claim on here that has lost time. And so we go back to a couple minutes ago, the best claim you can have is medical only. The worst claim you can have is medical and indemnity, because those carry their full weight and they tend to move the experience mod greater. There's a claim on here for $1,039, and it's a medical and indemnity claim. And according to this account, this person was injured. The doctor gave them a work restriction for 4 days. So the insurance company had to pay out 1/2 of 1 day of wages to this injured worker. 1/2 of 1 day is under $100 in wages. And now that claim, instead of being medical only, becomes medical and indemnity. I don't know if the accountant didn't know or somebody didn't communicate to them or what the deal is. That's one of those things we're going to talk about. But here we are. That one claim, that $1,039 claim, if you convert that claim from a medical indemnity to medical only, that makes the mod drop by another 1 point, $1,450. I don't know any business out there that if I would say, hey, if you give me $100 and I gave you back $4,500, would you take that deal? Because the answer is always yes. And had anybody communicated to this account, why don't you just go ahead for the half day or for the day or two and either bring this employee back to work or go ahead and send him his wages and let's keep this claim medical only. It's going to save your business $4,500 in the long term. Why that happened or why that didn't happen, I don't know. One of those things we're going to talk about. So here's two things out of these 15 claims. We've got 9 claims that could have been handled by nurse triage, 1 claim that could have been medical only, and altogether that has a 2% impact on the experience mod. So here we are, we're spending $3,000 more a year, $9,000 over lack of nurse triage and lack of a formal return to work program. People, I kind of take this personally because we as an industry, I think we can do better. As an insurance agent or insurance broker, we really need to communicate this type of information to our clients. I believe 100% that every business out there is better at spending their money than the insurance company. And these type of things, they're really sloppy and they're costing businesses money. And when your insurance company pays out these type of things, in the case of what I'm looking at here, the total claim cost was under $4,000 for all the claims that I'm looking at, but this insured is going to spend $9,000. I mean, insurance companies, they make money. They have to make money. Your business needs to make money. But wasting money like this that you could reinvest back in your business by spending, a little bit of time and maybe some education, that's what we need to get to. So here's the other interesting thing when I look at this loss history. We've got claims, it looks like the average is anywhere between 4 to 6 claims a year. But the most recent year that I see here, it looks like we've got 3 large claims of people injuring themselves lifting. And it's when you go back to the prior 2 years, some of those claims that I read off, dropping stuff, pulling a 50-pound bag or whatever it is, and overexerting yourself. All of these were precursors to what has happened the last year. So in the last year, this account has had almost $130,000 in workers' compensation claims. So it's about 100% loss ratio. Hurt back lifting, that's one claim. Lifting an item hurt bicep. What's the other one? Sore shoulder, pulling an item and strained their shoulder. I believe 100% that these claims probably could have been prevented. We'll go out, we'll do an on-site visit here and find out what type of equipment or what they were using or what their methods are. But the reality today is these claims have increased this account's experience mod from 0.73 to 1.21. They're spending $75,000 more than they should, and that's going to haunt them for the next 3 years. And this experience mod is a symptom of an underlying problem of lack of safety, lack of nurse triage, the whole gamut. It makes me sad, really, people. It really does. I think a lot of this could have been prevented, and all we had to do was talk to this account about it a couple years ago and maybe give them some tips and ideas, and they could be saving $75,000 a year minimum. So what would I have them do? That's probably the question that you're asking right now. As an agent, am I concerned about one bad year with an account? Or maybe, if an account's paying $100,000 a year and they've got $4,000 worth of claims, I'm not going to get too worked up about it. But what's happened here is the next year there's more claims, and that led us into the third year. Depending upon the size of the account, most insurance agents are not looking at your losses. I guarantee you they're not looking at your losses on a weekly or monthly basis. Even in my office, we evaluate claims on a quarterly basis just to see what's going on. But you, as the business owner or the HR professional or the risk management person or the CFO, this falls under your wheelhouse to really advocate and look at what's going on. And if you're noticing, hey, we've got 6 claims throughout the year of people that are lifting, maybe it's time to look at why they're lifting inappropriately, or if there's a piece of equipment that can be used to help make that process easier. I don't know. But you really need to advocate for your position as the business and bring that to the forefront and ask your agent for help. If it's not a concern to you and you're okay paying the premium, then I really don't have a dog in the fight here. There's nothing I can do or nothing that I can say that's probably going to change your mind until you have the pain of paying an extra $75,000 a year in workers' compensation premium. And then the conversation is going to be a little different. And I said, hey, remember when we talked about this 3 years ago and nobody cared? Here we are. Your people are getting hurt. They're not coming back to work safely. You can't reinvest that money in the business. You're short-staffed. The list goes on. And I hate to see this. I really do. But that is why I believe you should advocate, pay attention, focus on safety. 1.21 is not the highest mod that I've seen. This can be fixed, but for 3 years, they're going to live with what's going on, and they're going to pay 75 grand a year times 3 years, almost $250,000 in excess premium. They don't need to. That's going to wrap up this episode today of Comp Talk. I hope this information was helpful to you. I hope the takeaways today are why you need to have an insurance carrier that has nurse triage, why you should look at all of your claims, and why you should evaluate those at least, if not annually, every quarter. Things happen, things get away from us, but we've got to stay on top of it. We've got to be aware, and we've got to advocate. If you have any questions or things that you would like me to talk about or things that I can help with, shoot me an email, toddthams@thecompeffect.com. We've got a lot of great information coming out for you here in the next couple of weeks, and I hope you find this information valuable. If you need anything, we'd love to talk. Thank you so much, and have a safe day.